Hey y'all, my name is Destiny, otherwise known as Decent Crochet, and this week... Sorry, there's something wrong, just give me one sec. That's much better. Let's get into the video. That's right, I went and got my hair cut short, and I love it so much. I've had my hair cut short before, I think like 4 years ago, but I don't think I've ever had it this short. But the funny thing about getting my hair, like me specifically, my hair cut short, is I always forget how much hair I have, and so my hair is poofier than I would have expected, just because when I did have my hair cut, my stylist had to wet my hair, so my hair was not dry when it was cut, but I still love it nonetheless. So for this week's video, I wanted to focus a little bit more on plushies and crocheting birthday gifts for friends that have birthdays in January. So the first gift I made is a Mimikyu. It's a type of Pokemon. I had asked my friend before winter break what was their favorite Pokemon, and they gave me a whole list, but Mimikyu was at the top. I have the other little antenna on the floor, but this is what it looks like so far. I still have to do the eyes, do the mouth, all that fun stuff, but I don't want to finish it until I get back to school where I have my stuffing. So my other friend, whose birthday is also in January, also really loves Pokemon, but this friend I've already given a Snorlax plushie to for their birthday last year, and that just turned out to be a smash. I had run out of yarn for one of the arms, and so what I ended up doing was using a pink yarn that I had planned on using for the flowers for the Snorlax evolution, and that ended up working out really well. I also made a pomegranate keychain for them, so that way they can use it on their keys, because my friend always loses their keys and they still use it to this day. Now, their birthday isn't until later in the month, so I still have a little bit of time before I have to decide what I want to make them. For the time being, I do have an idea for another project that I want to work on, and this would be for a friend whose birthday isn't for another few months. The reason behind this is just because I want to change up the pace a little bit. I have been wanting to work on tapestry crochet, even though I said that this video will be about plushies and birthday gifts. I will be making plushies, but in my opinion, if I find myself inspired enough to make something, I'm not going to force myself to work on a different project. So for the tapestry that I said I wanted to work on, I will put a picture of it up here so that way you can see the full image without me trying to show it on my laptop and getting glare. But this is how far I have gotten on it so far, and so it will take a bit of time for me to finish it, which is also kind of why I wanted to start this a little bit earlier, but I think it's turning out pretty nice so far. And as you can see from the image here, it's gonna have a nice white border with some plants and a phrase that my friend says all the time, planting the seeds. Alright y'all, so it is the next day, and I wanted to show y'all how far I got on the tapestry that I started yesterday, but if I seem out of breath or a little tired, it's because my mom and I just finished up some gardening in our backyard, and it's not my favorite hobby, but it is my mom's, so we were doing that for a little bit. But this is how far I got on the tapestry. You can see at the bottom it says the seeds, and you're starting to see some little specks of stars and the start of some plants. Now this is only a fourth of the way done. This is only 20 rows, there's about 80, but I think it's coming along nicely. There are some points where I'm just a little curious if I'm doing it wrong. Like these two are the same single crochet, but they look different. So I don't know if that's something that I'm doing or if it's just because of how the yarn gets twisted. Now I have done tapestry crochet twice before, but it was in the same like couple of weeks. One was this big album, a Harry Styles album for my friend's birthday last year, and I messed up on that one because I quadrupled the amount of stitches that I had to do. So instead of one single crochet, it was 2 half double crochets and then 2 more on top of that to be 1 square. And so instead of the tapestry being just a normal square, it was more of a rectangle, but I still think it came out nicely, and if I can find a photo, I'll put it up. I had also made another one during that same time period for another friend for her office, and she had just gotten hired for a new position and she wanted to hang something up, and it was a lily of the valley that I had found on Pinterest, and if I find a photo I'll put it up. But I think that one came out really nice too. I just wish I would have done a different color for the background. I just remembered for the tapestry that I made of the Harry Styles album 2, I had missed a color change, and so instead of going back and frogging like 4 rows, I just sewed it over, and you can tell on that part it's so thick because of how much I just kept going over and over again. But my friend still has it hanging up in her room, so I think it worked out pretty nicely. Okay, next I have a duck plushie pattern that I wanted to work on and just take a break from tapestry, but I am really cold, so I'm gonna put this blanket on. Okay, perfect. So I only have this much yarn left of this color, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. I'm not really sure. I could always try it, and then if it doesn't work out, I have some white yarn that I can use to make a duck and then still have orange for the beak. I do have this other type of yellow, but I don't know if you can tell, it's very swirly and it has some bright kind of metallic strands in it. I don't know about y'all, but I have a very specific way to join my rounds. I don't just start a new round. I slip stitch into the first stitch and then chain 1 and then work into that same stitch that I slip stitched. It makes it so that the rows are very even, but where you have the stitches, you can tell that there's bumps there, and that's not my favorite thing to do, but I like the even look, so I take what I can get. I just finished reading a book yesterday too, and it's called The Liar's Room. Now, it is meant for kids aged 8 through 12, but the school that I go to fieldwork at was having a book fair, and I wanted to support the school, so I bought a few books. And I actually really enjoyed it. It had chapters where each chapter was a different perspective, so a different character. And at the end, I was still confused as to who did what and who was who. So it was very much a cliffhanger. The author has other books, but I don't think it's a continuation of this one. But I've also noticed that even in movies, I forgot what movie it was, but it's a recent one, where everyone is asking, what's the ending? Like, what happened? This girl's just sitting in front of a TV at the end watching Friends while the rest of the world is blowing up. And I found a video talking about it on TikTok where someone was like, yeah, the whole point of it is because they know that people are always just like, well, what happened to the ending? And they're always just looking for that end instead of just enjoying the middle, the moment or something, or like looking at the bigger picture. I don't know. But when I read it and I realized, I was pissed. So I'm like, what do you mean? That's what books and movies are for. We want a good ending. But I guess it did its purpose because it got people talking about it, got people spreading the word about it. So I guess it's a new thing to do now. Also, this is coming along great so far. I have this much yarn left. I don't know if that will be enough, but let's just keep going and we'll see. It looks like a lemon. So I did lose this round of yarn chicken, unfortunately, and so I will have to redo this, get back to this point, but in white yarn, so that way we can pick up from there. Now it just looks like a white lemon. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna do the beak and the feet, and then afterwards I'll do a strawberry hat. Okay, I'm telling y'all right now, this pattern was made with a plush yarn, and I'm just using acrylic because I have blanket yarn, but not in the colors that I need, and also blanket yarn is just incredibly difficult to work with for plushies. And I've made plushies with that type of yarn in the past because I didn't know better. But for this pattern, it says the beak is just 10 single crochets in a magic ring, and then fold it in half, and then just sew it on there. I mean, it might look cute once it's all put together, but right now, I'm not so sure if I'm gonna be making more of these ducks. This person, and I think it was a group of them, they did awesome in making this pattern, but I'm not using the right yarn for it, so that's my bad. Okay, we have the feet right here. The duck goose is obviously not stuffed. It kind of looks like Kirby, but that's okay. Just imagine this stuffed and with eyes. Okay, I am gonna start working on the hat now. I'm not sure how that one's gonna turn out, but there's no hurt in trying. Okay, let me just say I cannot wait until it gets closer to spring and summer and I don't have to keep fighting to try and beat the sun every day, but it's fine. This is the hat so far and it's pretty cute. It looks more like a tomato right now than anything else because I forgot to do the sprout and I haven't done the seeds, but you know, it came along. Fun little project for the day. I will be completely honest though, I was getting a little overwhelmed while making this, not because it was a difficult project, but just because I went ahead and looked at my schedule for when I will be returning to campus and when classes start, and I actually have a few more days than I had initially anticipated, and so I have a bit more time to work on the roses like I had said I wanted to. But this past few weeks I have been making plushies and other things like that where I still need to assemble them at school since that's where all my supplies are, and I just started thinking like I have this project to put together and then this one and this one and this one, but it's okay because I will get to them when I get to them and I just gotta take it a moment at a time. I will most likely continue my work on the tapestry a little bit more, and I'll probably put another clip of just how much further I get before I finish up this week's video and send it out to y'all. So some unfortunate news, y'all. I ended up hurting my hand and arm a little bit more than I had thought yesterday after gardening and crocheting a little bit, and my hand and forearm and elbow have just been in such pain. And so unfortunately I cannot work on the tapestry that I wanted to work on a little bit more. But I do want to let y'all know that I am going back to campus on Tuesday, and so next week's video will be me getting set back up and getting settled back in. So I'm super excited for that one. So with that said, I hope y'all have enjoyed this video and I will see y'all next week. Bye everybody.